Hello, everyone. Let's take a look at the sky in May. And of course, not too many things are happening. It's going to be a dull, quite dull month. But the biggest problem is that the nights are getting shorter, and it's simply it's my problem always is that in winter we have nice long night skies, and we can watch a lot of stuff and follow a lot of things that are happening, but it's cold out there. And in the summer, we have very short nights, not too many things to watch, very long dawns and twilights with long nautical twilights. So it's very difficult to observe anything in the sky. And again, the May is not a very active month in many respects. But if you have a good pair of binoculars, you might be able to see some of the things. So let's take a look at the sky on the 1st of May. I prepared a PowerPoint for you, which I'm hoping to deal with. Okay, so this is it. And let's take a look at what we can see after sunset. This is London. So the sunset in London is at 8:24 p.m. There's going to be a crescent moon, and you may be able to observe a semi-square between Mars and Jupiter. And actually, Mars and Jupiter are what we call the champion combination. Jupiter enlarges everything it touches, while Mars gives you the energy, the boost of energy and the will. So this is a semi-square, which gives you some tension. But at the same time, if you take a look at the energy pattern, Jupiter is in Gemini, Mars is in Leo. So this is fire and air. So it's a sextile energy. So actually, you can do whatever you need. You can work in the garden, or in the patio. You can put your things in order. You can do physical exercise. That is what this semi-square is good for. And as you can see, after sunset, there are only 3 planets in the night sky: Jupiter on the western horizon, the crescent moon, which is going to be waxing, and Mars. And there's also the fact that Venus just crossed over to Aries, so it's on the vernal equinox point. And Mars does the only notable thing at the beginning of the month, which is on the celestial manger between the 2 donkeys. What is this energy? Again, I don't know how to. For some reason, the PowerPoint doesn't want to show. For this, you might need a pair of binoculars, because here's Mars, and here is Praesepe, which is the beehive in English, and Asellus borealis and Asellus australis, the 2 little donkeys. In between, and in Hungarian and many Eastern European portions, we call this the manger. And of course, if you take a look at what's happened to Jesus Christ when he was born, again, I don't know how to. Okay, I'm fumbling with this, and I apologize. So this is a usual depicting of Christ's birth, Jesus's birth, that there's a donkey, an ox, and the manger. And this is exactly what you can see now with Mars in the night sky. Why is this? Because the ox is Cancer in the Eastern zodiac. Why didn't I put here in the Eastern zodiac? Sorry. The donkeys, Gamma and Delta Cancer, Asellus borealis and Asellus australis, and Praesepe, which is M44, is the manger. So the reason why this is depicted, or Jesus is depicted to be born like this, was because there was an alignment in the sky between the energy pattern, the sign Cancer, and the stars of Cancer, the constellation Cancer. We call this paranatalanta, which means in Greek to rise together. This is a concept in Babylonian visual astrology that Bernadette Brady spoke about many times, and also she has written about it in her visual newsletters, which unfortunately she stopped writing. I loved them, but she stopped writing them way back, like 10 years ago or 8 years ago. But actually, this is what it describes. So it was an alignment between energies, between sky and earth energies. And that is when Jesus, the Savior, the universal Savior, was able to be born. On May the 4th, there's the first water moon, and this is what we call in karmic astrology a sliver. When you don't really have a closed configuration, you only have random aspects, which are either too wide or non-compatible. So the thing doesn't actually close properly. And this is what you have here. You have a sun-moon square, first quarter moon, of course, but it is separating already and a little bit wide to my taste. There is a trine, which is applying. So in 6 hours, this will be exact, 6, 7 hours, this will be exact. And there's a sesqui quadrate between the moon and Saturn. So you have this very sharp energy towards the Leo moon. There's also a Mercury-Jupiter sextile helping us to communicate in a nice, beneficial way. And Jupiter is what I call the star zone. At the moment, it will be aligned with 3 bright stars, out of which you can see 2, and or observe 2, and the third one you can only see when you are on the southern hemisphere. So Capella, which is Alpha Auriga, it's a very bright sky. It's 0.2 magnitude. Bellatrix, which is the western shoulder of Orion, which is a 1.7 magnitude star. It's the Gamma Orion, and it is the shadow word of Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is unlimited success, and Bellatrix symbolizes success through the shadow, when you are not prominently putting yourself in the forefront. And Focht is Alpha Columba, so it's the dove of peace. And this is what we call in karmic astrology the star zone. Gemini 20 to 24 degrees, you have a number of very bright and potentially very beneficial fixed stars. And Jupiter at the moment crosses this zone, Gemini. Actually, it started on April 25th. That is when it started to cross these 4 degrees, and it may end on it will end on May 15th when it reaches Gemini 24 degrees. And you can give it a 1 degree orb either side for fixed stars. But this is what it is. Capella, which is Alpha Auriga, Elnat, which is Beta Taurus, and again a beta star, which provides you the shadow energy of that particular constellation. What is Taurus? Taurus is well-being, how you can enjoy life, how you can succeed, become prominent, prosperous, and simply enjoy life. And actually, the Alpha star shows you how Aldebaran, which is one of the Persian bright star, it's one of the Persian royal stars, or the royal stars of Persia, the watcher of the East, and it gives you success if you avoid but if you really keep your integrity, let's put it this way. And at the same time, Elnath, which is the tip of the celestial bull's one of its horns, shows you that yes, in order to really keep this equilibrium, this kind of security and well-being, sometimes you need to fight, which goes against the constellation Taurus, and also but it's like the maddened bull energy, and sometimes you need to do that. And then these are the stars of Orion. Bellatrix is the left shoulder. Sorry, not yet. This is it. Mintaka, which is one of the bad stars, actually spot on the celestial equator. Al-Nilam is a little bit down there. It's the middle star, and Al-Nitak is still a little bit lower than that. Al-Nilam is at -1 degree in the declination. And these stars, because they are on the celestial equator, suggest eternal and divine balance. That is what you can actually achieve. And Ansys is the Great Orion Nebula, M42, which you can actually see by the naked eye. It's, I think, 4.2 in magnitude, but you need, of course, clear vision and good sight and no contamination or pollution. And Mesa is the tip of Orion. It's the head of Orion. So those are the stars of Orion. And then Focht, as I said, is Alpha Columba, which is the peace energy, which you won't be able to see on the northern hemisphere. And on the 12th of May, we have a Scorpio full moon. And again, the stars are going to be very, very prominent. The moon is on Unukalhai, which is Alpha Serpens, an interesting star because serpents is linked to the serpent holder, to Ophiuchus. We are going to look at the drawing, and you will understand why it's unique. On Mercury, you have Sheraton and Meshartim, Beta and Gamma Aries. Meshartim was prominent on the vernal equinox. It is a star that is signifying a new era. And Sheraton again is a beta star. It's the negative fighting energy of Aries. Mars, when you fight, sometimes you know that you are not going to win, but you still fight. So it's not, stars are not negative. It's not negative in any sense. It simply shows you the shadow aspect of what is the constellation for. And then on Mars, you have Gyansha, which is Lambda Draco. And on Jupiter, again, by then, it moved another degree. It's almost at 24 degrees by then. And you have Alnilam, which is Epsilon Orion, Elnat, which is Beta Taurus, Ensis, which is the Great Orion Nebula, and Nyssa. So this is what you will see. Here's Mercury on Sheraton and Mesartim. These are very close together. Here's Jupiter with these stars. And Mars is aligned with Gyanshar, and as you can see, nothing can ever be conjunct Gyansar. It's only the astrological degree that is aligned. And here's Unukalhai. As you can see, this is the moon is aligned with Unukalhai. Again, it's not going to be conjunct with it. At the moment, the moon is on almost on the winter solstice point in the declination. So here's Sheraton and Meshartim. And here are the stars of Orion currently aligned with the full moon Jupiter. And this is, I didn't put, this is serpent holder and serpent in Hungarian. I apologize. I always do this in Hungarian at first, and then I forgot to change the energy. Anyhow, so this is the serpent holder, which is Asclepius, and he had this, and the serpent is the only constellation that it has two parts. And of course, the serpent holder is cutting through them. And the whole constellation is about healing. And this symbolizes to me that we lost our ability to heal. We lost our ability to properly heal because we are taking pills and we are believing the big pharma. And I just wanted to warn you that on the 25th of May, we are going to have a very tension-packed day. This is in London at 9 a.m. So it is starting at 9 a.m. when there's a mutable ground cross with the nodes, Jupiter and the moon. And of course, you won't be able to watch this with your eyes, but it's still going to be there. We call, whenever a planet is at the bending, we call it a karmic cage in karmic astrology. And this is a double karmic cage. Of course, it's a mutable ground cross. With Jupiter and the moon opposite each other. And then luckily the sun is kind of dissolving this tension in a way, but the tension is still there. And by the evening, around 7 o'clock, right before sunset, we are going to have the moon traveled up till its last degree in Sagittarius, making a square with Saturn, also anaretic. This is an anaretic square, and both are creating, making sesquiquadrates with Mars, creating a Thoth hammer. So it's a very strong configuration. Moon Saturn is always about Moon Saturn squares are always about depression, and Mars Moon is hurting through words, and Saturn Mars is stalled activity. So it's not a very nice one. And we still have the karmic cage with Jupiter, and it's still luckily dissolved by the sun, but this gives you plenty of tension, so be careful on the 15th. And then on the 20th, the sun is entering Gemini, and with it, even before, like a day earlier and a day later, it will be aligned with the stars of the Pleiades. the Pleiades, which is the home of the celestial goddess, the creator goddess. It's a last quarter moon, so this entry into the sign is going to be tense because the moon and the sun are going to make a square. But Venus is on Alpharas, which is Alpha Andromeda, and of course Saturn is on Shead, but Beta Pegasus, and it will be there for quite a while, which is one of the is the main survival, the main redeeming place for suicide victims. Okay, here are these stars. Saturn is not yet on the equinox point, but it's nearing to it, and it's aligned with Shead. As you can see, the alignment is never really conjunction, except when the star is on the ecliptic. So this is Shead of Beta Pegasus, the main healing word for suicide victims. Interestingly enough, Alpharas is the second stage of healing for suicide victims. And Alpharas is where the soul learns how to move, how to actually come out of this horrible feeling of I threw away my physical body. You have to understand that the third dimension has the physical body and of course the soul and the mind as well. And in each portion, in each level, we can commit serious crimes. The most serious crime is to destroy your physical body, because that is what the main vehicle of the soul is here on the third dimension. And to throw it away is a universal sin that is very, very difficult to come across. And that is why you need to be taken to Shem. And the second stage is where you learn how to move, you can come out of it. And the third is Capella, where you actually are free to move. So that all three stars are very prominent now. And we have this war raging in our backyard, which is totally senseless. And it's really ridiculous that 500 so-called scientists are urging the European Union to put together an army of 180,000 strong. Can you? I mean, it's so ridiculous. Go and fight if you want to. Go and kill yourself if you want to, but leave our sons and our husbands alone. It's ridiculous, but this is a suicidal energy right now that we can actually tap into and release it. And here are the Pleiades with the sun. This is the creator goddess energy. And just to go back, what other universal sins we can commit here on the earth plane. So the biggest one is if you destroy your physical body. Emotionally, the biggest sin is when you withdraw your love from someone deliberately. Okay, and the third one is a mental sin, universal mental sin, when you don't disclose a piece of information of knowledge that could help someone. Okay, on the 25th, the sun is finally entering again entering Aries at actually at 4:36 in London time. So the sun will be up. We won't be able to see. But if you are willing to look up the sky sometime around dawn, I mean, when the sky is still black, of course you should sleep instead. But anyway, you will see the balsamic moon, a very bright Venus and Saturn there. You won't be able to see Mercury, it's too close to the sun, but that is what's happening. And the Venus, the Mars trine is maybe the most prominent feature in May as a nice and flowing aspect. On the 27th, we will have a Gemini new moon at sunrise, exactly at sunrise. Again, something you won't be able to observe with your own eye, with the naked eye, but Saturn and Venus will be up at dawn. And the moon is on extreme declination, out of bounds. Here it is. As you can see, Jupiter is very close to the summer solstice point. And the new moon is at Gemini 6 degrees 05. The sun is naturally on the ecliptic. This is what consists of the ecliptic, the sun's dots, really. And the moon is 26 degrees, so it's above the ecliptic, out there in the universe, out of bounds. getting down universal energies instead of physical human energies. And on the 31st, after sunset, you will have a crescent moon and Mars up in the sky in the stars of Leo. This is how it looks like. You can see Regulus, and the moon is coming towards Leo. Actually, the stars of Leo are quite bright, and the shape of this constellation really resembles the animals, so it's fascinating to observe. Mars is getting closer, and the moon is like swimming towards the celestial lion, and actually a day later it will be somewhere here with it above Regulus. If you can see it, it's great. It's really great to observe. So that is it for the night sky in May. Not too many things to watch, but if you have a good pair of binoculars, you can still observe some of the planets around the fixed stars. Thank you for listening, and happy May.